LeBron James and Luka Doncic were too much down the stretch for the Mavericks tonight as they fall in Tinseltown to the Lakers. We'll break it all down. Coming up next on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We are DLLS Mavs. Appreciate you joining us here on our post-game show. Unfortunately, the Mavericks fall tonight to the Los Angeles Lakers 107-99 as Luka Doncic and company improved to 35-21 on the season. Your Dallas Mavericks fall to 31-28 on the year as they finish their two-game road trip 0-2 with losses to the Warriors and the Lakers. Klay Thompson, 22 points. Kyrie Irving leading the charge for Dallas tonight with 35 points, going 5 of 11 from downtown. But it was too much down the stretch from the Lakers, including LeBron James, who had 16 of his 27 points in the fourth quarter. Luka Doncic on the night with his 81st career triple-double, 19 points, 15 rebounds, 12 assists on the night, including 3 steals and a couple of blocks for the Lakers. We'll break it all down here for you over the course of the next hour. And right now, we are going to be joined by our national NBA insider. You can always dial up the Stein line at the Stein line with our guy, Marc Stein, joining us here on the post-game show. Mark, how we doing?
Guys, that was a very weird night. It is still a very weird night. I shouldn't talk about it in the past tense because it is still going. We knew it was going to be weird. We knew it was going to be strange. And yes, I would say it lived up to that kind of billing.
It was just weird. Like the first quarter didn't really feel under control. It just felt weird. Then it would kind of like the second half was a game. Like the third quarter was great. Most of the fourth quarter was great. Like this looked like two teams that were playing pretty well. It was kind of messy, but like it was close. It was tied. It was going back and forth. And then down the stretch, it was just, we were all kind of thinking, man, the Mavs could really use just anyone that could help Kyrie, anyone. And the guy that he used to, the guy that Kyrie used to help is playing for the other team now. Like it's
That's
just,
right.
I don't know. It just felt very strange.
Yeah, I mean, Luka got the early tech, and there was, he banged in a couple threes, turns to the bench, but like that was really the emotional part. I mean, the fourth quarter was very subdued, and I thought, Luka, handled. It was not any kind of storm to him. I mean, he just was, he ran the show. I think he recognized that with the Mavs size issues inside with no bigs, I mean, let's face it, Dwight Powell was supposed to be on a minutes restriction tonight, and they let him go a little bit longer because I think they were just so happy to have, someone, even though Dwight Powell is not the biggest center in the world, someone who knows how to operate as a 5-man and play that position naturally. And, they let Dwight play longer, I think, than they were even intending to. But, I think Luka just recognized that LeBron was going to be able to muscle his way inside, take advantage of the Mavericks' just total lack of an interior presence, and just kind of picked him apart down the stretch. Another triple-double, like Kev said, number 81 in his career. And it, the stats certainly look impressive when you especially just look at the rebound numbers. But just a very, it wasn't like screaming and daggers. It was just a very composed get the ball to the right place and finish the Mavs off.
Yeah, the Lakers dominated in the paint, especially in that fourth quarter, getting a lot of easy buckets, whether it be in transition or guys getting to the bucket for layups, taking advantage of the lack of size in the middle for Los Angeles. I think one of the big takeaways, if you're a Mavericks fan watching this game, you feel like if you're fully healthy, you had a chance to dominate them. In terms of the glass, if you had anybody boxing out, anybody boxing out, getting some rebounds tonight, not to mention the amount of missed layups and floaters that this team had. If you're a Mavericks fan, you feel like if you got your guys healthy, that you could really give the Lakers some real problems with the size that the Mavericks present.
Can't have that conversation. Like, that's the thing. That's the like. How many times we talk about that with KP? Like, oh, when KP gets healthy, man, this thing is like, it just sucks that this is the reality we live in, Mark.
Yeah.
No, and they just they play above their maximum with what they actually have available at their disposal. Like, you know, the Lakers went up 16, and I'm sure they thought this is going to be a comfortable night. This is going to be a cruise and a chance for Luka to just flex and dance. And, you know, the Mavs just won't go away. Klay Thompson had a massive second half. I mean, you know, PJ Washington 0 for 9 from the field. I mean, that obviously hurts in a huge way in a game like this when the Mavs are struggling for offense. But, like, no matter what happens, no matter how short-handed they are, you know, they still find a way to just play to the end, make a nuisance of themselves. I mean, on one hand, I want to say I never really thought the Mavs could win this game, but, I mean, they cut it to 1 3 times. I mean, they made the Lakers highly uncomfortable.
As the Mavericks fall in this game 107-99, you look at just a couple of numbers from this game. I mean, the Mavericks scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. The Lakers scored 22 points in the paint in the fourth quarter, 22 of their 29 points in that fourth quarter coming in the paint, led by LeBron James, who was sensational in that fourth quarter, the ageless one in year 22, 16 of his 27 coming in that fourth quarter, going 7 of 9 from the field. Aside from just the emotion that was surrounding this game with Luka playing against his team for the former team for the very first time, what else stood out to you from tonight's game based on what happened tonight?
I mean, I really actually want to ask Bobby because, like, I was in LA for Luka's debut, and, you know, I think we all knew that for so many people in Dallas, like, it's already been a really hard 24 days. This is only day 24 since this trade happened. I mean, and they've all been excruciating, but I think we knew this, for a lot of people in Dallas, was going to be, you know, the worst day yet, because you actually have to play against Luka. And, like, just to hear the way Luka talked about it after the game, I mean, it sounds like his head wasn't all the way there at times, that he couldn't believe that this was actually happening. But, like, you know, again, I already saw it once with my own eyes in his Laker debut, and, you know, tried to look at this thing as, you know, as a, you know, detached observer. But I really want to ask the Corellustrator, like, was it as bad as you thought it was going to be? Was it even worse? I mean, I'm guessing it was even worse.
I don't know. It was just weird. I don't even think that it was bad necessarily, or like tough. It didn't really feel like I was watching Luka. You know, like it doesn't, you know, Luka was great, obviously, against the Nuggets. And he was good tonight, 19, 15, and 12 or whatever. Like, most guys who have ever played.
It's a career night for a lot of guys.
I would love to do that one time, but
right.
Like, it just didn't feel like I was watching Luka. It felt like I was watching a really good basketball player, but it didn't feel like I was watching Luka Doncic. And maybe that's because, like you said, Mark, he said his head wasn't totally there, and he felt kind of weird about it. Maybe it could be that he's not totally healthy and he can't, you know, put his foot on their necks the way that he would want to, or maybe it was the scheme. I don't think that it was. I don't really like a lot of the stuff the Mavs did on defense in this game, but I don't know. It just didn't. I think it would be harder if Luka went out and was Luka, and had 36 and 15 and 8
and went full scorched earth on him.
Yeah, like that first quarter felt kind of like Luka whenever he made a few.
Yeah.
it's interesting you bring that up because the first trade deadline I ever covered in the NBA, literally 10 days into my beat writing career, I got thrown onto the Clipper beat. And for me, it was a dream come true. And I was the happiest person in the world. I mean, I thought I had, I got the greatest job in the world. But 10 days into my beat writing life, the Clippers traded Danny Manning for Dominique Wilkins. And there are a lot there, that trade doesn't come up that much when we talk about the Luka trade, but I actually see a lot of parallels with that one because, this is a long time ago. I don't expect anybody watching to remember this. It's, halfway through the 93-94 season, but Dominique Wilkins was the Atlanta Hawks. That Hawks team was leading the East. And they abruptly trade Dominique Wilkins for Danny Manning because they thought Danny Manning was a better fit and could do things that Dominique couldn't. And then within a month of that trade, a very young and green and far skinnier Marc Stein got to go to the Omni, my only trip to the Omni, and watch Dominique Wilkins just go nuts, 36, and beat the Hawks in Atlanta. And I think that's probably the kind of game we expected for Luka, that he was going to come in here and just, go crazy like that. But I think we're kind of in agreement here. The conditions tonight, they didn't allow for it. It was a close game, intense game, but it was really clanky and raggedy too. And I think he just kind of, again, felt his way in the fourth quarter when he came in with 7 minutes to go and didn't try to take over the game. He did what he had to do to win the game and executed it very well. And they ended up getting the win.
I did think that was pretty impressive that he didn't try and
that's what
take it over.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Imagine just getting through it and walking out with a 19, 15, and 12 triple-double. That's just I'm not trying to glaze the dude, but my gosh, just getting through it. Yeah, we're gonna walk out of here with our 81st triple-double.
He leaned on LeBron,
and he leaned on LeBron.
It helps. It's a really sick thing to have awesome teammates.
Yes, it's amazing.
It would have been cool if anyone out there was helping Kyrie the way that LeBron was helping Luka.
And I think we also have to say, they've got major size issues too.
Sure.
The Lakers can't say our centers are injured. They really don't have centers. And that naturally makes you question how on earth are they going to be able to function in the playoffs like this. But when Reeves is your number 3 in terms of a playmaker, shot maker, he causes trouble too. I mean, they're still figuring it out offensively, but they have a lot of optionality offensively. And that's something now that the Mavericks do not.
By the way, your story about Dominique Wilkins kind of resonates because they are Hawks fans to this day. Or excuse me, they are fans who used to be Hawks fans who are no longer fans of that team because of what they did in moving away from Dominique Wilkins. And they have never come back. And that franchise, honestly, has never been the same since they moved on from Dominique Wilkins as well.
I mean, I think the comparison is more valid than a lot of trades we compared it to, again, because Dominique Wilkins wasn't young in his career at that point, but he had the stature as a Hawk. He was synonymous with the Hawks. And Luka, post-Dirk, was synonymous with the Mavs. And so I think that's where the parallel is, and also the fact that Atlanta team was doing really well with Dominique Wilkins and just abruptly decided to go in this dramatically different direction. In the Mavs, now again, there are limits to the parallels because, again, Dominique was already, at an advanced stage of his career. I mean, Luka's, and he's turning 26 at the end of the week. I mean, that's one of the many things that makes this trade so hard, so justifiably hard for Mavericks fans to accept, because it's not just what this team could have done this season, but, again, I keep saying it, Luka, the Lakers have an 8 to 10 year runway now with Luka. They're going to have to re-sign him, obviously, but I don't see the Lakers mishandling that. They're going to get that done. The Lakers have a future they didn't have a month ago. A really bright future. Again, this is just game 5 for Luka, coming off the most serious injury he's ever had as a pro. And I think we got to factor that in as well. This is only his 5th game back from missing more than 6 weeks. And I think he's still finding himself. And my instinct says when April 9th comes around and the Lakers are in Dallas, a good chance we're going to see a much different Luka Doncic. I'm afraid. I fear.
Well, we don't fear you having you on the show. It's always great to see you. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We know that it's very, very early in the morning where you are, so we appreciate you hanging out with us. Go get some rest, and look forward to seeing.
Before I go, though, I do have to say I have never looked more forward to Cato's corner, because I'm sure you guys like me after the game. You're trying to follow, like, okay, who's Luka gonna hug? Who's he not gonna hug? Like Cato was there, and I'm really interested to hear what he saw that we couldn't see from far away on the screen, because when it's a game like this and a situation like this and just everything that goes into it, what happens before the game, as we saw with Nico out there watching Luka's warm up, what happens before the game and after the game on a night like this is just as interesting as the game itself. So, like I said, I look forward to Cato's corner.
Sounds good. We appreciate your time as always, Mark. Good to talk to you, and we'll talk to you when you get back.
All right, guys. Be good.
Bye, Mark.
That's our National NBA insider, Marc Stein. You can always dial up the Stein line at the Stein line. Let's take our first break here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. When we come back, the moment set to define this game between the Mavericks and the Lakers, and unfortunately a bad night for one PJ Washington out in Los Angeles. We'll talk about all that and more coming up next on the DLLS Mavs postgame show.
Let me launch the PJ smear campaign.
Hey, yo,
because KG
man.
on Sleeper tonight, I had Luka for more than 8.5 points in the first quarter, and he scored 9.
Yeah.
I had Klay for at least 3 3-pointers, and he made like 15 or
He was
something.
fantastic.
He made 5 officially, but by the unofficial count, he made 15. I had PJ for 15 points, and he had. Am I reading this right? This says 0.
He had as many points as Abby had tonight.
Well, PJ is on my list. All right. On Sleeper, you can pick whether your favorite or least favorite players will get more or less than their projected stats each and every night. PJ let me down tonight, but no worries. I will try again next game. Sleeper is always there, and if you download Sleeper, use promo code DLLS Mavs. You can play $5 to get $55 to use on any contest. Doesn't have to be your first. Just check out their website and their terms and conditions for details. Sleeper is currently operational in over 25 states. Download it today.
And with the money that you win, you can buy yourself a nice pair of Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all of your outdoor activities. Hundreds of options to choose from as well, so you're bound to find the perfect pair in your team's favorite color. They probably have a style in your team's favorite colors as well. So make sure that you go to shadyrays.com and check out their fantastic selection. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DLLS for 35% on polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Shout out to Shady Rays. As the Mavericks fall tonight in Los Angeles, 107-99, Luka Doncic gets his 81st career triple-double. LeBron James scoring 16 of his 27 points in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, Kyrie Irving, big night for him offensively for your Dallas Mavericks with 35 points, just not enough in the game itself. Klay Thompson, big second half for him. He wound up going 5 of 10 from downtown with 22 points. The only other Maverick in double figures tonight was Max Christie in his return to Los Angeles with 10 points. But, Bobby, let's dive into it, because in the first half, The Mavericks were able to use what was a 12-4 run to be able to cut the lead down to 8 going into, or the deficit down to 8 going into the second half. It was 59-51 at the end of the first half. Max Christie got things going from the three-point line, and that started to become the defining thing for the Mavericks, especially in the second half. Klay Thompson getting things going for them as well from the three-point line. But unfortunately, it was the inability, and we talked about it during the pregame show, the inability to be able to handle themselves, especially on the defensive glass, not boxing out, not being able to secure defensive possessions with rebounds. And the Lakers not only took advantage of that, but also, especially in the fourth quarter, really getting into the paint where LeBron James had his way, going 7 of 9 from the field. The Lakers scoring 22 of their 29 fourth quarter points in the paint alone. And unfortunately, that's kind of what defined especially the Lakers' ability to pull away from the Mavericks.
Yeah, you just can't get stops. They couldn't get any stops. And in a game like this where you're playing from behind, I mean, they led whatever for like a point or something at one point, but
at one point they led by 16 in this game. Did the Lakers?
No, I'm talking about the Mavs.
Yes.
So as the Mavs are playing from behind for basically the entire game, and then down the stretch, whenever you're down 4 and then 6 and then 8. You have to score pretty much every time. Even when it's a tie game, you have to score almost every time because it is going to be almost impossible to string together 3 or 4 stops in a row in the closing minutes of games with this team as currently constructed. By then, the opponent has you figured out. They know what you're doing. They know how small you are. They know, like, Rui Hachimura just stopped spotting up from 3 and just started going to the rim.
Yeah.
He was just standing there for the final few minutes, and LeBron just kept feeding him. And in those situations, especially whenever you're playing with cerebral guys like LeBron and Luka that just know the game and see it at such a high level, like, you're not running offense. You're just playing I win, and the Mavs, in the games that they've lost since the deadline, it's been to Sacramento when they couldn't stop DeRozan, but when they did force a miss, Sabonis was there to tip it in. Or tonight, they couldn't stop LeBron, but when they did, it was Hachimura there, or Dorian had a putback, or Jared Vanderbilt knocked down some threes. Like, they cannot win games with their defense right now in clutch moments. They have to score a lot in fourth quarters in order to win. In the fourth quarter tonight, they were 8 of 25. They committed 2 turnovers. They committed a lot of fouls. They had 5 defensive rebounds on 10 Laker misses. It's just not good enough. Like, it's just not good enough. Your defense has to be good. Your offense has to be good. Neither was good in the fourth quarter tonight. And so, I mean, they deserved the result.
The Lakers wind up scoring what was 52 of their 107 points in the paint. You look at the rebounding disparity in this game. Mavericks got out-rebounded 57-45. They actually had more offensive rebounds than the Lakers did, 14-13, but the Lakers had 44 defensive rebounds to the Mavericks 31. Some of the other numbers from this game, the Mavericks shot 17 of 44 from downtown at 38%. Lakers were just 11 of 40 from downtown themselves at 27.5%. Neither team shot the ball great. For a game that was as close as it was, the Mavericks only shot 35.7% from the field overall, going 35 of 98. Lakers weren't much better. They went 39 of 87, shooting at 44.8%. But another story of this game, and you can look at the numbers specifically, the 2-point field goals that the Mavericks had tonight. They had 54 2-point field goal attempts. They only made 18 of them at a 33% clip. Meanwhile, the Lakers went 28 of 47 from 2-point field goal range at nearly 60%. You cannot miss as many layups and as many floaters as the Mavericks did, on top of everything that you're already dealing with from a size disparity, not being able to rebound the ball well. You got to make the easy buckets when you had the opportunities to, and they simply couldn't do that at all with any consistency tonight against Los Angeles.
Yeah, the Mavs were 17 of 46. 17 of 46 on shots in the lane. That is 37%.
That's horrendous.
37% on shots in the paint, and those were not 14-foot fadeaways. They weren't 13-foot heavily contested floaters. These were layups. These were point-blank layups. P.J. Washington, 0 for 9, including 0 for 7 on twos. Kyrie, he shot actually almost 50% on twos. So you're cool. Max Christie, 2 for 9. Dinwiddie, 1 for 4. Who am I missing here? God, they shot a lot of threes. I mean, PJ is kind of the main culprit, honestly, because he was just, he airballed a layup. I don't think we're talking. He airballed a layup.
Yeah.
And PJ is my guy. This is a very pro PJ Washington program. He airballed a layup, and he passed up an open 3 and dribbled and tried to go for a reverse, and the ball ended up in the net at the other end of the floor on an ensuing fast break, and those just kill you. Christie got stuffed a couple times. Max was trying to make stuff happen, which I can respect that.
Yeah, I appreciated the way
I can respect that. But for Max and PJ to combine to go, what's 9 plus 7? 16? 2 for 16 on twos, dude. 2 for 16. And almost every single one of those shots, in fact, I think maybe every single one of those shots came in the lane. 2 for 16.
Yeah, look, the numbers stand out for themselves, but as we talk about some of the moments that define this game and the players that contributed to this loss, look, it's going to just stare you right in the face. PJ Washington, 34 minutes, 0 of 9 from the field, didn't make a free throw, didn't make a three-pointer. Yes, he had the 10 rebounds, he had 5 assists, had 4 blocks in this game, but still wound up being a -4, and Kyrie needed someone else, and usually it has been PJ. He's had some big games, obviously, this year, and they needed anything from him offensively, and he gave you absolutely nothing on the end of the floor.
Less than nothing. He hurt them.
Yeah, he hurt them, even in the time that he was on the floor, even with some of the things that he was doing from a defensive standpoint. But when you got Kyrie Irving going for 35, Klay Thompson gives you 22 with a big second half as well. If you get anything from PJ Washington tonight, you probably win this game. So that was really disappointing that offensively he simply did not give you anything from an offensive standpoint, because if you got something from him, you probably win this game.
Yeah, I don't remember when this was. When did they combine for 59, Kyrie and PJ? Which game was that?
That would have been
Pelicans
game.
Yeah, so a few days ago, Kyrie scored 35 and PJ scored 24. And I was like, the beauty of this thing lately is that PJ has been playing like a number 2 and Kyrie's been playing like a number 1, despite the fact that coming into the year, PJ was essentially cast to be like a number 3 or number 4, and Kyrie was the number 2 or number 1A or 1.5 or whatever behind Luka. But now you trade Luka, so those two, and you ostensibly add AD in, so AD is your number 1 or your number 1.5, but AD's out too. So now PJ has to be the second guy. Kyrie's got to be the lead guy. Kyrie, flying colors. He was pretty bad against the Warriors, but so was the rest of the team. I give him a pass. He was unbelievable tonight. The dude nearly suffered from exhaustion 5 minutes into the game because he was busting his ass out there. Respect. Nothing but respect for Kyrie. PJ, 0 points. Now, Klay picked up the slack. He scored 22, so Klay was kind of the number 2 tonight or whatever. Normally, he's giving him 8 or 10 points a game, sometimes close to 15. But, yeah, they cannot afford, against any team, against the Hornets. The Hornets suck. They play the Hornets next. If PJ scores 0 against the Hornets, they're probably going to lose that game too. This team doesn't have enough offense right now to get goose eggs from anybody, let alone the guy that's supposed to be taking 10, 15 shots a night.
Yeah, your margin.
And he knows that. I'm not trying to take a dump on him or whatever. Yeah. It was an awful PJ game.
Yeah, no, it was. And your margin for error right now is 0. You have very little to none in terms of your margin for error. And when you're dealing with the issues that the Mavericks are dealing with right now, you've got to have everybody be able to contribute in significant ways to win these games, even when you're facing a team in Los Angeles who, again, overall did not shoot the ball great overall from the field or from 3. If you tell me that Luka Doncic is going to go 6 of 17 from the field, and you get a game like that from him, where other guys like Dorian Finney-Smith went 1 of 6, Gabe Vincent went 1 of 6, Rui Hachimura went 6 of 12, had a good game himself. He was a plus 19, and LeBron James had the 16 of his 27 in the fourth. But you feel like you gave yourself a chance because the way that the game was flowing earlier on, the Mavericks almost felt like they were going to get run out of the gym in that first quarter, but they were able to steady and calm things down with that big run in that late in the second quarter to get themselves back into the game. And really, I thought gave themselves a chance to win but unfortunately was not able to keep it going. But Klay Thompson's big fourth quarter and also big second half really gave them a chance, but not able to come up with the win tonight against Los Angeles. With Klay Thompson scoring. This is why you can't trust plus minus all the time. So Klay Thompson had 22 points, was a negative 20 tonight. But again, that's why you got.
I mean, the first half he was pretty bad.
Yeah, the first half it was not great. But shout out to him for getting the Mavericks back in it. But unfortunately, they fall to now 31-28 on the season. Coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show, we'll get to your super chats and your thoughts on this game as the Mavericks fall to the Los Angeles Lakers. And a little bit later on, we'll be joined by our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato, live from Los Angeles to get his thoughts on tonight's game and what the Mavericks also had to say about the loss in Los Angeles. All that and more coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show.
But first, let's talk about game time. The Mavs have a game coming up against those dreaded Charlotte Hornets in a couple days. The Hornets have had some pretty good success in this building over the last few years. So if you want to get there to cheer on the Mavs to hopefully a victory, all right, otherwise we're in full-blown crisis mode, then I would recommend Game Time. They got this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. There's all sorts of scalpers and people that are trying to rip you off, but Game Time is going to give you the best deals. And also, you will be able to know what you're going to pay up front. You're not going to get caught with any of those surprise fees at checkout. You can see the view from your seat before you say yes to. So if you're not familiar with what the view from section 123 looks like, well, here, it is right there for you in Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today.
And when you go to your game, you got to get fitted in some really nice gear as well. You can do that with FOCO. Get fitted out in the best sports gear around. They got hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between, including Cowboys Crocs like your boy has at the house right now. If you're going to a basketball game or a hockey game, show off your love with team-branded friendship bracelets, whether it's jackets, beachwear, or even overalls for Bobby Carella. There's something for fans almost on every occasion. They've got decorations here, as well as you can see some of which here on our set, as they've donated some awesome pieces for us here at DLLS Sports. So make sure you go show them some love. So check out foco.com or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items and use the promo code DLLS10 for 10% off. Again, DLLS10 for 10% off. Shout out to FOCO for all of your fitted outdoor and gear needs. Mavericks fall 107-99 in Los Angeles to Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James' big fourth quarter powering the Lakers to a win as they scored 22 of their 29 points in the paint in that decisive fourth quarter. Let's get to some of our super chats here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. Appreciate all those contributing so far to our program. Let's start with Henry Diesel 23 with a $1.99 super chat. Quote, "Hates kid for leaving PJ in. We got clapped."
Yeah, I don't think we'll say it with as much verve as we did a few days ago.
Nope, because it's already Wednesday morning.
It's true, though, Henry.
It is very true. Henry Diesel 23 comes back in with the $4.99 super chat. PJ hasn't watched film from Golden State. When Klay is hot, you feed him at all costs. Trade PJ Washington for Kevin Durant by 11:59. Understand now, as usual. Hashtag fire kid.
Oh, that day may be coming, but it won't be for another few months.
That's right. Let's get to who? Mac Jones with the $2 super chat. I was satisfied with our team not quitting.
They fought. They did fight. I mean, they fell apart a little bit down the stretch at both ends of the floor, but I mean, like we talked about, you get down 16 and you got no bigs and their crowd is going nuts. It's pretty easy to pack up the tents. They gave in, I think, against Golden State the other day, but that was not going to happen again tonight. So that was good to see.
I mean, that's been a hallmark of this team all year. We've talked about it quite a bit, is that this team has fought all year long through the adversity. They have come ready to play on most nights, and no matter who is or who isn't on the floor, they have given pretty good effort on most nights to give themselves an opportunity to win. But at some point, it's going to catch up with you. and it's catching up to them a little bit with the lack of size. And teams are starting to figure that out a little bit, especially as you're getting later into these games, that the size disadvantage that the Mavericks have right now is just not – you're not able to win some of these games with that.
I'm just laughing. Mitch Mitchell's was like an animated emoji, but the YouTube description of these animated emojis is so wonderful. Pair character punching the air with fist and bump written on his knuckles. I think that's a great alt description. Thank you, Mitch,
for the $3 super sticker.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I wish it could actually pop up as we could actually.
It
see.
does in the chat.
Yeah, it does
YouTube.
In the chat, but yeah, well, unfortunately we can't. Do you have it pulled up? I want to see.
It's a little. Yeah, it's a little.
Okay. All right. Cool. But thank you, Mitch, for the $3 super sticker here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. But yeah, I mean, a lot of folks lamenting in the chat that look, you'd nearly beat a healthy Lakers team with Luka Doncic getting a triple-double, with LeBron James having that big fourth quarter. And I think it just underscores what Mavericks want to see with this team when and if they get healthy, because you feel like with the size that they have on this team, they could really give teams a lot of problems, not only defensively, but really crashing the glass and just giving them opportunities to be able to do the kinds of things to win close games like this. And in close games, you got to be able to close out possessions with rebounds. You got to be able to box out and just do the things that are winning plays, and they just simply don't have the guys right now to make those plays on a consistent basis to be able to win some of these games. Because as you look at the standings right now, this team is now 31-28. They're 13-17 away from the AAC, and now as of the completion of tonight's games, are now 9th in the Western Conference. Fortunately for the Mavericks, I mean, the Phoenix Suns continue to lose games. So at this point, it doesn't feel like the Phoenix Suns are turning things around anytime. So they lost in overtime, 151-148 to the Memphis Grizzlies on the road. But right now, you are tied in the loss column now with the Sacramento Kings, who also have 28 losses. And oh, by the way, you're going to be seeing Sacramento here a couple of times here pretty soon. So
and they play Phoenix too.
And they play Phoenix as well. So again, with all the things that they're going through, they're trying to still win these games, but at some point, you got to find a way to win some of these games, because you're going to start playing some teams that are not only in front of you, but also behind you, looking to catch up and pass you in these Western Conference standings.
Yeah, and of course, making the play-in is cool, but if you finish 9th or 10th and you have to go 2-0 in a single elimination scenario just to be the 8th seed, so and you're playing the road, at least one road game. If you're the 10th seed, you're playing 2 road games.
I have to correct myself. They're playing Sacramento one more time the rest of the regular season.
So it would be no victory to be the 10th seed. That is nothing to be proud of as an achievement. But tonight, a lot of ball watching, especially in the fourth quarter. Just a lot of just watching the shot miss and then reacting with oh darn it, whenever the guy that you should have been boxing out is getting the offensive rebound and putting it back in. That happened in the first quarter too, but of course everything is magnified down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is, there was one example where Dorian got a putback, where Dorian was Dwight's guy. I think LeBron beat someone off the dribble and took a floater, and Dwight tried to block it for no reason and obviously did not block it, and so Dorian had an uncontested putback. That was a huge bummer. The next time down, there was a shot. A jumper. Luka took like a 19-footer off the dribble pretty early in the shot clock. The Mavs had Dwight in the middle, and then they had Dinwiddie on one side and Max on the other.
And here comes LeBron.
Yeah, and I don't expect Max Christie to block out LeBron James, but you have to at least try.
Yeah.
And LeBron just had a runway to the rim, and it was a putback dunk. That's 4 points they shouldn't have had. The Mavs lost this game by 8. So, I shudder to think of what the situation could have been had they gotten either of those rebounds, let alone KG both. I thought one other thing that was kind of a bummer, Dante Exum had an atrociously bad first half, but in the third quarter, in 4 minutes, hit a couple shots, was making some things happen.
Yeah.
He was looking good, and then he got clocked right in the face. I'm pretty sure he lost a tooth. It looked like there's a gap in his mouth where one of his front teeth should be. Maybe Tim has some more info on that. We'll have to ask him. But Dante had to leave the game, did not come back in. And that's a bummer because he at least was feeling good And it sure would have been nice to have anyone else that could dribble down the stretch. So, his first half was very poor, but his little cameo in the third quarter was going really well.
Yeah, he hit a 3, and then he hit a bucket in the lane and was playing really well and giving them a chance to get back into this game. But, yeah, like I said, took the shot to the mouth, and it was curtains for him from there. I'm interested to know if he had to be evaluated for a concussion because he took that shot to the mouth and was down on the floor for a few minutes, bleeding from the mouth as well. So, yes, Dante probably needs a dentist at this point for sure with the shot that he took there.
Only the second worst elbow from LeBron tonight.
Oh my gosh, because PJ
that one was
took
definitely
it.
an accident. The PJ one was. I cannot believe that wasn't a flagrant.
Yeah,
not that it matters, but I just can't believe it wasn't. It was very bizarre.
Yeah, shout out to little Dallas Cowboy. What about Bron's elbow? Not fair. Yeah, Bron's bows tonight were sharp and finding people's faces, including
and not even Dwight's.
Not even Dwight's. Imagine that Dwight Powell comes back, doesn't get hit in the face one time. Except PJ and Dante are the ones getting shots to the face.
It's contagious.
Now, I thought the first one they did wind up reviewing that, but they did not call that a flagrant foul if I remember correctly.
No, the Mavs challenged it and it was overturned.
It was okay.
Yeah. They called PJ for a defensive foul for that at first.
Oh, originally, yes.
What?
Yeah.
Whatever.
But I thought the second one wasn't flagrant at all. I mean, it's just he unfortunately caught Dante Exum in the mouth. And
honestly, dude, maybe PJ gets a free pass for having a stinker because
was he concussed?
Maybe
for the rest
he
of the
was
game?
actually seeing 3 rims
after taking the shot. Did you just find a way to give PJ a pass for this?
I said maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Only maybe.
Only maybe.
40% of the timelines he's blameless, but this ain't one of them.
No, not tonight. But obviously the story for tonight's game was Luka Doncic coming into this game, playing his first game against his former team and the Dallas Mavericks. And while it wasn't necessarily vintage Luka like we saw in the game against the Denver Nuggets, he was clearly effective enough in finding teammates. Bobby, you lamented it throughout the course of the game, the amount of wide open looks that Luka Doncic is able to create. I mean, he's arguably the greatest creator of three-point shots that the history of the league has ever seen. And you saw that time and time again, whether it was Jared Vanderbilt, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura. There were guys just wide open, sometimes not within 4 or 5 feet of their ability to shoot the ball from the three-point line. They didn't knock down a bunch of them, but it just shows you the gravity and the pull that Luka Doncic has to be able to get his teammates wide open looks. And while the scoring and the shooting wasn't great, him going 6 of 17 from the field, it's the other stuff that makes the player as good as he is, and why he can make his teammates that much better because of just the gravitational pull that he has.
Yeah, they were doubling him, and I didn't like it.
Yeah,
you
didn't like it. You said not to do it.
He's taller than everyone that was on the team.
Well, so let me ask you overall, what did you think about the approach to Doncic in terms of trying to defend?
I thought it was good when they switched.
Okay.
I didn't think it was good whenever they doubled. Whenever he would drive, most of the time they just let him go to the hand he was driving. Said, don't overplay that because he will draw a foul. He did shoot 8 free throws, including 3 on such a bad Klay foul. Such a bad Klay foul on that 3-pointer. The Mavs just foul way too many 3-point shooters. That's just a thing.
I'm over that bit.
But yeah, I mean, it just I didn't really like it. Arlen Johnson has spammed this message in the chat like 3 times now. When are you going to discuss how bad Powell is on defense? Buddy, Dwight's their 4th string center. He hasn't played in like 2 months. I don't know what you expect. I don't know what you expect. He wasn't a good defender whenever he was healthy. Like he's old and not healthy, and he doesn't play. Like he's not good. Like he's not a good defender. He's their 4th string center.
Yeah,
we discussed it.
Yeah, that's not breaking news at all.
Yeah, he's not very good. Granted, he is way better than Moses Brown or Kyler Kelly. No disrespect.
Oh, man, that was, and we'll talk to Tim about it more, but that was one of the funnier moments of the game. So Moses Brown was apparently about to check into the game, and then all of a sudden, 77 from the Lakers comes running toward the scorer's table, and Jason Kidd's like, actually, come here, Moses. Don't even worry about it. You come sit down. Don't even worry about it. You come have a seat next to the other 3 big men that are injured tonight, and have a seat and just watch the game like the rest of them. But it's just.
Yeah, their center rotation is a disaster. I'm not trying to be an asshole or anything, but like he's their fourth option. And honestly, like I think against a good team, they would probably rather play PJ at the 5 and maybe even Kessler Edwards at the 5 than Dwight. Like Dwight is not supposed to be out there.
No,
he's not. And I mean that's just how. It was like great news that he was available for this game. That's how dire their situation is.
I'm about to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like, do you realize how down bad we are right now? The fact that we got excited that Dwight Powell was coming back.
It's tough.
It's tough. It's
really tough
to get excited about the idea of him giving them. And I thought at times he gave them some really nice hustle plays. Had a couple of offensive rebounds, kept some things alive. But again, it's just not enough. It's just not enough when you're dealing with the big man situation that the Mavericks are dealing with. But good to have the veteran back with his energy and his presence for the Mavericks.
I also love Dwight Powell. I'm just gonna say it. I love Dwight Powell, the guy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. He's not a great player, but I love the player. I love the guy. I love Dwight Powell. I'm not afraid to admit it. I love Dwight Powell.
At one point, he'll probably have Nico's job, be the president of the organization at some point.
Maybe that'll happen this summer.
Could you imagine Dwight Powell retiring and stepping into the president's seat for the
No complaints from me.
I'm sure not. Let's take our final break here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. When we come back, we'll be joined by our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato live from Los Angeles to get his thoughts on the game and what the Mavericks had to say about tonight's loss to Los Angeles. All that and more coming next on the DLLS Mavs postgame show.
But first, shout out Aaron, shout out Chris. They became diehards today. What a diehard is a member of our community here at DLLS Sports, and you yourself can become one by scanning the QR code right. Oh, I almost got. There we go. Right. Oh, wow. Right there.
There it is.
Oh,
Tanner is messing with you.
He's making this very hard.
Or making it a lot of fun for me to laugh at.
Yeah. We're running a special right now because our guy Jeff Wilson is covering Rangers in spring training. He was out in Surprise last week, and he's going back there again here pretty soon to bring you access, to take you out there if you're unable to go, and bring you some of the best coverage in the world for all of the 4 teams here in DFW, including more coming soon. Hopefully, I think. Potentially, more. Stay tuned.
Come on, Paige. We need you in Dallas.
Stay tuned for updates on that.
We need you, Paige.
We're running a special. It's $48 for the year. That comes out to $4 a month. What you get when you sign up is a free shirt that covers almost 3/4 of the cost. We got more than 30 shirt designs. KG's got one on. Tanner's got one on. Abby does not. I don't, but I do have like 5 shirts. I also have a hoodie. It's not cold enough outside to wear my DLLS hoodie. It's very snug and comfortable and delightful. You also get a discount on any other merch. You also get to read the entire website, all the premium paywalled written content. Sometimes they even let me write.
Including Bobby's banger of a piece today on alldlls.com.
I wrote a big-ass long story about just trust and bad stuff. Thank you.
That was a banger of a
I do
piece.
appreciate
I enjoyed that.
But we got writers covering all the 4 teams. And you also get to join the DLS Diehard Discord Lounge. It's a great place to hang out and show it.
The physical diehard card.
You get your physical diehard card.
That's right.
Thank you for everyone that's become a diehard. Thank you for watching the show. And now let's talk to Tim Cato.
Let's do that.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet?
We're not talking to Tim Cato yet.
We gave him literally the whole show to get himself together, and he's still not.
Club Cato is popping off after that Lakers win.
I had a joke, but it's too late to say it because who wants to get angry?
It's 12:30 in the morning, KG. It's not too late to say it.
And we have a show later on
The day just started.
Right. And we have another show coming up later on today.
What time?
1, I think.
1 o'clock. We get to do this all over again.
If I could go back in time and change the schedule, I would.
I mean, you could do that right now if you want to.
I would get yelled at by so many people.
Like but we get Friday off.
At least 3 different. Yeah, we do. Yeah,
we do get Friday off.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah, I know you'll be here.
Doing super important stuff that I can't describe.
Okay. That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Yeah. But Tim Cato's on the line.
Oh, he'll be here in just a few seconds. Oh, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of glad this game's over with because, like, the emotions of going through this day, I was really kind of amped up for this game because I thought, he was like, look, man, we're going to see Luka Doncic, potentially a vintage performance. Hopefully the Mavericks get the win anyway. But at the same time, I think we had a few of those moments in this game, but then it all kind of just, was kind of a slog after a while. And it just kind of, okay, things are happening. And unfortunately, it resulted in a loss.
A very well-lit posh club, Cato.
Yeah, Crypto.com Arena clearly.
Oh, we're here. I was talking S in the comments.
Oh, okay, yeah, we see you.
So I didn't realize I actually got put on. I thought I was being silenced yet again.
No, you're not at the AAC, so you're good. Tim Cato joining us live from Tanner got the joke. Tim didn't. He's not. Never mind.
214-sided has asked a couple of times. Tim.
Oh, you just didn't laugh. Okay.
What did Nico eat today? We must know. Do you know?
I did not see him in the hotel lobby. So there's a. Well, should I say all this? It's pretty well known fact.
No, don't dox. It doesn't matter. Just don't do it.
There's just a hotel right outside the Marriott or right outside the arena that everybody knows.
Yeah,
is the
I wonder
NBA
what
hotel.
It's called.
The JW Marriott. Well, no, they don't sponsor us. That's why we don't say it.
Yeah, that's why.
This is common knowledge.
I think there's probably another reason why you don't say it, but whatever.
Yeah, no, that's the main reason we don't say it. Trust me, it is very common knowledge for anybody. Watching, have you guys, clearly not, have you guys ever walked by it and seen how many autograph seekers are outside the team hotel? Every single time?
A lot of times, yeah. A lot of times.
So anyway, my point is that the NBA Central of LA is that lobby because it connects those two. And a lot of times I see a lot of people in that lobby, and sometimes they're grabbing food from a Marc Stein favorite, Illy coffee.
Mm.
And I did see some Mavericks, not players, but staff, getting some food from there. But I did not see Nico Harrison.
Mm.
So I cannot report whether he had a chicken Capri sandwich. Actually, it's just a Capri sandwich. No chicken. It's delicious. I buy it all the time. I didn't get it this trip. Maybe tomorrow. So this is a very long-winded way to say that I cannot help you. I do not know what he had for lunch today.
What's with this dude in coffee shops, man? Good gracious. I'm about sick of coffee shops.
Stay away from the coffee shops,
you asked me a question,
Stay
I want
off
to
the
answer
beans.
No, you answered the question. I'm just saying, when you mentioned the name of the place and it was a coffee shop, I'm like, geez, I'm sick of coffee shops in this team. Like, I'm over it. Also, tonight, obviously, Luka Doncic is playing in this game. Apparently, there's video circulating, and you were obviously in the arena, so you could probably hear it. Thank you, Nico chants breaking out inside of Crypto.com Arena tonight while Luka was apparently shooting free throws at some point.
I saw someone tweet that, Tim_Cato.
Yeah.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, that's you.
No. Yeah. So I will try to get to the bottom of whether that actually happened, but I did see that account tweet that there are Nico, thank you, Nico chants.
You care how long?
Okay, I can. Dude, I'm just saying. Yes, there were those chants. They happened notably twice, and it seemed like maybe for one other moment they almost broke out, but then didn't. There was a few signs, definitely some Luka jerseys, Mavericks and Lakers. But the atmosphere was that of a highly competitive, close game between two good teams that was entertaining and thrilling down the stretch. It was the exact atmosphere that you would expect from an NBA game like this. Just as they were cheering on every LeBron James and Luka Doncic bucket, they were also oohing and awing, not loudly, not cheering, but when Kyrie Irving did something really cool, just like you're going to see in any NBA stadium, there was recognition of that. It was a very normal atmosphere. I'm sure the fans also, at least some of the fans, felt it was surreal. But that's, I think that's a feeling that was more for us. In my case, a media member who became a Mavericks beat writer 1 month before he got hired, and then went to Slovenia, and then, I spent my entire career covering him. For Mavericks fans, the guy they rooted for all these years, the guy that they have a relationship with. It was a very surreal thing. I think Lakers fans by this point are adjusting. Certainly not as visceral to them that Luka is on their team, and it's I'm sure they're still realizing how cool it is, and will continue to do that. But it's different. It was definitely different from the Mavericks side. You could see from Luka that obviously you guys saw on the TV, but he was amped up from it. Amped up, especially early on. From what I saw, there was nothing directed. He wasn't yelling ever at Nico Harrison. There's a lot of looks at the Mavericks bench. But something the TV broadcast probably didn't show is that there was a lot of smiles and jokes. Because because the Lakers have 3 ball handlers, there was times where Luka was, in the corner and then remained in the corner. Sometimes that was 10 seconds of possession. And I spotted, at least a half dozen and probably more that I missed moments where he joked. He was in that corner right next to his old team's bench, and he was joking. I saw Derek Lively specifically. They're grinning at each other. I thought even the very, very small scuffle that happened in the game where Vando bumped Kyrie and both benches, had some words with each other. I don't know if the TV broadcast showed it, but there was a lot of people smiling as well. That one was a little bit theatrical. I think the players understood to some degree, and Luka certainly has a very unique perspective on it. But I think even the players on the Mavericks understood that this was a very interesting, unique, odd situation. And for it to go like this I'm just glad it was entertaining. I think that's one of my main takeaways from the game itself. We can talk about the team. We can talk about what it means. I'm sure there's plenty of time for that later. Right now, this is, I guess a sense of closure. What did you guys kind of go through? What was the overarching takeaway from back at HQ?
Just kind of annoyed that they kept just like forgetting that they have to guard all the guys in purple. Like right. All of the ones that are in purple, you want to keep them from putting the ball in the net.
Especially that 23 dude in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I told Stein earlier, like it didn't really feel like we were watching Luka. It feels like he said mentally he was kind of processing the whole thing for most of the game, and then obviously he's still dealing, I think, with some of the injury and limited by some of that. So it didn't really feel like watching Luka. Instead, it felt like guys not boxing out. It felt like guys double teaming unnecessarily and then not rotating. It just felt like a lot of mistakes. It felt like a team that has a bunch of guys out there that probably shouldn't be playing or shouldn't be playing as many minutes and have played too many minutes for like 3 months now. Like the sum of all my fears, like this is the realization of all of the things that I was saying we can't be doing 5 months ago, and now they're all happening. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just was talking about this. So, yeah, I don't know.
But I guess the point you could make is that because Luka was seeing all these doubles, it did feel, like you said, a little bit like you were watching the Lakers supporting cast, play 4-on-3 basketball. And then you're on the other side watching the Mavericks supporting cast play really good basketball. I think the Mavericks supporting class, very clearly showed that they were, better than what Luka has right now. The Lakers are not, I think the Lakers have said themselves, this is not quite a complete roster. This is not the exact roster they envisioned to put around Luka. And I do think this team is, will obviously get better if it's healthy and obviously be very, very, very good. And we can debate how good. We probably should start doing that. I think it's finally time to, really talk about what this team looks like, even though we haven't seen them, but what they could look like, maybe later this week. But right now, the roster that was out there, except for Max Christie, who just directly replaced Quentin Grimes, almost identical players. I think Max is a little bit better. It's the same team. So whether it's AD coming back or whether it would have been Luka coming back, I have to imagine, from where I sit, that's just such a hard thing to parse. Are you saying that this team that's really good, that made it competitive this entire game, and didn't quite have enough at the end to win it? Maybe if PJ Washington hadn't, been, evaporated into some other version of a, object being person that was wearing 25. I don't know what that was tonight.
If you give me 9 shots in an NBA game right now, I'll miss them all. I don't care. I'll airball a layup. I could do that.
So you were PJ tonight, is what we're hearing.
On
but yeah,
offense,
PJ was better.
Was much better than I would be on defense, Tim. Much better.
He was, and he was very good on that end. But if PJ was better on offense, like there's ways Dallas could have won this game, and it's I don't know. That's I think the way I saw it, that's the takeaway. And it's something I've heard also as I've started talking to some Slovenians for a piece to come. Slovenians who are, obviously Mavericks fans because of Luka. What some of them are having a hard time getting over. And I thought this was very telling. And I could see it watching. I could see how they're feeling watching the court, watching this game. Is that this team was so good. It still is good. Still is very good. If it's healthy this season, it definitely may not be. It feels very likely this season's not going to work out. But this team's really good. And what some of them expressed was just, a sadness or an anger or just a confusion that they didn't get the chance to see this team with Luka coming back to it. So it's weird. It does feel like closure. I don't think you're ever moving totally on from this trade, but I don't know. I feel like I've, from where I sit, from my job, for my career covering Luka, for my career being an analyst and trying to figure out why trades happen and what I think of them and whether they're smart or not, I do feel like pretty ready to move on. And I think everything that happens from this point on is something closer to, I don't know. I guess it's just ammo, or I guess it's just it's fueling, or affirming, what I think. I don't think anybody's minds are changing after tonight, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I think everything about this trade is set in stone. And I think if it wasn't, everybody's opinions on it, what they feel about it, I think it's set now.
Well, thank our television audience for joining us here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Make sure you visit alldlls.com to become a diehard member as well. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports here on YouTube. As we finish up here on our DLLS Mavs postgame show, our Mavs beat Tim Cato reporting live from Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California, after the Mavericks fall 107 to 99. Before we let you go, any thoughts from any of the principals involved, whether it be Jason Kidd, Kyrie Irving, or others who spoke after tonight's game?
Yeah, and I think they're about to take down the table I'm sitting at if I don't get out of here too soon. I was there for Kyrie, and I missed Kidd. I was in on Luka, and I think you talked about a little bit about what Luka said. It was very Luka presser, but I hopped over there first, and I thought Kyrie was typically very good, clean shaven and all. Not totally clean shaven, but close to it. And he talked about how it was weird. I can curse now, right?
No.
Why not?
You missed your chance during the watch along.
Okay, well,
we
that's
had
not
3 hours, Tim. We had 3 hours of F-bombs, and you missed out on all of them.
Okay, well, it was weird as S, is what Kyrie said. Even if I'm quoting someone, I can't curse. What type of tyranny do we live under at this YouTube channel? But he said it was weird as S, playing against Luka, but he thought it was fun as well. They talked a lot about the Hermano stuff. I saw somebody on Twitter tweet that they are muting the word Hermano, that they can't do it anymore. Thought that was I was going to say funny. I guess to that person it's not funny. It was it was a telling tweet that again, some of the fan bases is I had someone tweet it. So I saw that tweet, and then earlier tonight I had another tweet with somebody being like, how do you always manage to bring up Luka in every tweet about the Mavericks in a game where they're playing against Luka? So there is a very wide range of spectrums continuing to happen. So. Yeah. And I can't see the chat. I didn't open it.
It's all right.
Sorry, chat. I usually do.
It's been good tonight.
But yeah, Kyrie was the talisman. The emotional leader and the guy who was most eloquent as usual, as we've come to expect. And I thought he was very very good about all that. He had one other good joke, and it's all turning into a blur at this point, especially as I feel everything being torn down in and around me. The chairs to my right and left are just disappearing.
Cut Crypto.com arena into pieces.
Oh yeah, I see old boy in the background ready to sweep.
So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, I'm happy to answer them. But probably on this note, I'll plan to get out of here.
No more questions.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and let you go. We don't want you to get swept up.
Can you provide me with a queen size or king size bed, Tim? Because I'm tired.
We all are. Tim,
you're much closer to your home than I am to mine.
You're damn right I am.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Tim, we appreciate you reporting, staying up late with us here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. We will talk to you at some point this week.
I'll see y'all.
All right.
Bye, Tim.
You can find him on X at Tim_Cato. It's over. I feel like an emotional dump. It's just, it's over. And I appreciate the point about there being some closure. I think for some fans, there will never be real closure to this, especially when we get to April 9th and that cat shows up here at the American Airlines Center. Much more fully formed, and I'm sure much more in a headspace to be able to deal with. It
would just be different if there was something to look forward to. But, the thing
March
to look
6th.
forward to, outside of just getting to watch Kyrie play, which is fun, but the thing to look forward to right now is the day where they're going to let us know how many of the 3 big men on their team will be out for the rest of the season. Is the thing that we have to wait for. So if the team was good, I think let's move on, let's forget about it. We're that ain't happening, dude. This team is banged up.
Yeah.
Every single game is going to be a frustrating grind. The wins are going to feel awesome because it's oh my God, I can't believe these guys are doing it. The losses are going to be well, what do you expect? They got no bigs. They can't get a rebound. They can't get a stop. They can't make layups. We're going to be doing this 25 more times. But we're going to get to do it together. That part I do look forward to.
Yeah, because they got to find a win in short order because they play 5 of the next 6 games at home starting on Thursday after an off day tomorrow. And those games include Charlotte, Milwaukee, Sacramento on the road against Milwaukee, and then back here against Memphis. And then
Giannis with no bigs. Woo!
Yeah, wow.
Dwight Powell. Wear a triple layered face mask.
And then they get Phoenix on March 9th. So, yeah, all of a sudden the game against the Charlotte Hornets on Thursday turns into
must win.
Kind of, yeah. I didn't want to necessarily go there, but yeah, it kind of is a must win.
Got to
against the Hornets on Thursday because if you don't, yes, these games are at home, but my gosh, Milwaukee, Sacramento, Milwaukee, Memphis, Phoenix, through March 9th. That's some tough sledding.
Jaren Jackson Jr. with no bigs. Domantas Sabonis with no bigs. Love it. Did you say Sacramento?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's late.
After Charlotte, you got Giannis, Sabonis, Jaren Jackson, and then
after Charlotte, dude, they just lost to Charlotte. We can't overlook Charlotte.
We can't look past Charlotte.
That's Mark Williams. He'll bust their ass too.
Oh, they do have. They do.
Dude, you got to box out.
You got to box out.
Miles Bridges is going to have 80 putback dunks.
Oh,
I'm going to be so mad. I will be so mad, KG. I will say some real bad stuff in the DLLS Sports Studio during that game.
Giannis might go for 30 and 20.
It is what it is.
When he gets here.
Stay home on the shooters. Let's go to bed.
Let's go to bed. Really appreciate all of you who have joined us through our pregame show, our watch along and our post game show as well. Thank you to our guests who joined us throughout the course of the evening. D-Line, shout out to Eric with DNVR, Adam Morris, also DNVR as well. Clarence Hill Jr. of the DLLS Cowboy Show, Jesse Holly for hanging out with us during the watch along as well. Shout out to our girl Abby. She was hanging out with us throughout the course, so she didn't want to get on camera. Like, get on camera. Hurry up. Get on camera. Yes, that's right. Get on the camera. You got to sit down. There we go. There.
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez. We can't.
Tanner.
Okay. Put her on the other shot then. Put her on the other shot then.
Our friend Abby is just off camera. Yay!
Yay! Shout out to our girl Abby for hanging out with us as well.
No,
that's why you
I
stick
said
around.
I don't know.
That's why you stuck around.
I did not say that.
Oh no,
her mic was off. So what were you promised,
all right, good.
Abby?
So she's been silent.
Pizza.
Oh, pizza.
And I don't play about my pizza.
Oh, Bobby, you gonna have real problems tomorrow.
I never said pizza.
Oh snap!
I never said pizza.
That's why she stuck around as long because she was waiting for that pizza and you didn't give it to her. Well, y'all got some.
I wish I would have got 15 pizzas now.
It's probably still been more than what pizza. Never mind. We appreciate our producer Tanner for hanging out with us, doing what he does, making us look good, sound good as always. Thank you, sir.
Thanks all.
And thanks to all of you for hanging out with us on this weird emotional roller coaster that was the Mavericks and the Lakers. We will be back later on this afternoon, Bobby, at 1 p.m. right here on the DLLS Mavs podcast, recapping more of what happened earlier tonight, as well as looking forward to the Mavericks coming home to take on the Charlotte Hornets on Thursday. That's Abby. That's our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Curl. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you later on today at 1 p.m. right here on DLLS Sports. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.